All right, take three. First rule of this channel, we do not talk about this channel. Second rule of this channel, this is not legal advice. So welcome to Chasing the Dragon Week 10. This is the waiver show. I just got done with my script for the after waiver show tomorrow, and this is a really, really horrible week for waivers. I actually had to cheat and look at what other people were going to talk about because the only two guys I could kind of figure out what that were going to be on the waiver wires were Keaton Mitchell, the running back for the Ravens, and Cade Otton, the tight end for the Bucks. So Keaton Mitchell, I've already talked about him before. I'm still not interested in him. If you have to go get a running back because you're in that bad a spot, like hard road to win your championship. A little bit more interest if I think that this guy's going to get rolled out against me and I want to block because there's only going to be so few guys out there that have road to touches. I'm probably would rather be rolling out a handcuff at this point, like a Tajay Spears if he's available, Rico Dowdle, Jac Shanet if he's available. We'll talk about Jac Shanet here in a second. So when it comes to Keaton Mitchell, I talked about him when he was coming off the IR for his hamstring and then he got hurt and he went back on it. I just don't see how he has a role in this backfield. His 18% touches in this game, it was a blowout. He got in late. 60-yarder didn't score, 40-yarder did. And a little bit of interesting stuff when I was breaking down the stats for this game. Justice Hill was at 63% stats. That's mostly going to be when the game is still competitive. And Gus Edwards was only at 18% snaps. That was 5 carries, 2 of which that he punched in for touchdowns from the 3-yard line and the 4-yard line. So a guy like Keaton Mitchell, where his value would come from, all running backs in fantasy, they come from red zone usage. He's not going to get that between Lamar Jackson and Gus Edwards. Even Justice Hill probably being more of the receiving back, he would have to carve a rollout. And I think I saw like John Harbaugh said today that like they may have to go by some like running back by committee, hot hand approach, get Keaton Mitchell the ball more. But again, how efficient is he going to have to be on a certain amount of touches? So we can also compare Keaton Mitchell to Jaleel McLaughlin and how many opportunities he's going to get a game. And the Ravens may sneakily be the best team in all of football. And their offense, they haven't had to really unleash it because their defense is so good that they haven't had to actually like do stuff. And that's going to also hurt a Keaton Mitchell because like his main role would be that change the pace type guy within this offense. And I don't see how he's going to be able to consistently rip off 60, 40-yard gains and score touchdowns. He's not going to get the goal line work, and he's not going to be the design receiving guy. They may package him for like 6 touches a game. He may get up to like 15 in certain game scripts, but like who knows how predictive that's going to be. So like, yeah, if you have to go get Keaton Mitchell because you need running back right now, I can understand that. Otherwise, I'd just be putting my cuffs out there and go getting them. So Cade Otton is a little bit more interesting to me. I think he was at like 71 air yards overall. So he's not just being used as a check down monster. 9 targets, 6 receptions. My big knock on him is he's going to be behind the pecking order of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer. It was up to like I think he actually had air yards over 100 air yards this week. I have to go look at my notes. So he's going to slot in probably even behind Rachaad White when it comes to receiving work, and it's just not going to be overall predictive. Now, the difference between Cade Otton not being predictive and Keaton Mitchell not being predictive is when your tight end basically gives you, a sub 40-degree day. Well, it's impossible for a tight end to give you a sub 40-degree day because they're tight ends. So like the best you're going to get is like, oh, I got points or he won me my week. And so a guy like Cade Otton rolling a guy out there when he's getting like 96% of snaps, 97, 100% of snaps, like there are really bad guys to be rolling out there, and Cade Otton is not one of them, even though he's probably never going to get back to this stat line again. But he will score a few more touchdowns in the offense over the course of the season. And you're just going to have to either be looking to stream him or, putting him into your lineup and just going, I'm not going to look at this position again. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. So the other guy, Demario Douglas, the wide receiver for the Patriots, like I was a little surprised to see that he even popped up. I think that's his nickname, Pop. No pun intended. So 83% snaps, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 55 yards. The problem with him is, and I'd have to go look at my notes, but Hunter Henry had more air yards than he did. So again, I don't like horizontal targets. I like vertical targets. If he's not getting vertical targets, especially in a bad offense, and he did this last stat line against the Redskins, who are like one of the worst secondaries in football, and they lost both their defensive ends to trades. He's going to have some appeal against the Colts because the Colts are so bad on defense. But after that, like wide receiver threes do not win fantasy championships. And again, you have to be in a really bad spot to be rolling a guy like this out and trying to catch the lightning in a bottle. Josh Dobbs, I can understand why Josh Dobbs is on the waiver wire. Like I probably would have dropped him too if I had him. I think I already did drop him in the one league that I did roll him out based off the trade. So again, he is a low-end starter at this point, and I've been talking about him before. So, like, if he's available and he got dropped, then yeah, and you need quarterback either to stream, or as a starter. Like, I would be rather happy to be using him at this point because of this rushing floor. He's going to consistently have that at this point. 4 rushing touchdowns on the season, and you can kind of project that out that he will probably finish with 6, 7, 8 rushing touchdowns on the season just by how he plays. He's got better toys, better coaches with the Vikings. Going to probably be capped from a talent standpoint because he's probably not the greatest in the world. But again, I don't care about that from a fantasy perspective. He's got the guys to throw touchdowns to. He can run. He can score touchdowns. The turnovers are going to cap him a little bit. But yeah, very interesting guy to go out and get if he's still available. Jonnu Smith, the tight end for the Falcons. I said I wouldn't roll him this week. If you didn't listen to me, good for you. But I went and watched the tape on this. He had a 60-yard touchdown that was on a screenplay. He was working basically as the fullback, getting checkdowns out of the backfield and turning it into yak. No air yards. I think I don't quote me on this. He may have had negative air yards in this game, believe that or not, coming out of the backfield on checkdowns. So, if you want to chase that in an Arthur Smith offense where he can't get the football to Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan, then you go ahead and do that. Like, I won't be touching this back or this offense at all. And then finally, Jac Shanet, the running back for the Seahawks, should already be rostered as a priority cuff. If he's still available, yeah, I would probably be putting a little bit of money on him from a fab perspective. So he outsnapped Kenneth Walker again. I think that's kind of the game script. They may also be trying to keep Kenneth Walker fresh. He didn't necessarily blow the doors off on his 5 touches this week. I think he had more touches last week than Walker did. Again, that's just going to be game flow dependent. But this would be the type of guy in an offense that's on the not bad to okay to good side that, if there is an injury, this guy could win you your league. So, of the 2 running backs that I think have a better chance to win me my league, it would be Charbonnet over Keaton Mitchell. Tight end perspective, I think Cade Otton's going to be more predictive than Jonnu Smith. Josh Dobbs, I can be rolling out there as a weekly low-end starter. And, Demario Douglas, there are probably better guys. I'll talk about them tomorrow. Jalen Hyatt for the Giants had a ridiculous amount of air yards. There are probably better guys that I would be chasing the spike week than Demario Douglas. So anyway, that's all I got. Keep it short on chasing the Dragon week 10.